we were hearing shooting in the distance. And because, we were scared that there might be stray bullets and everything, I had to tell her to lie down, right? So we lay down on the floor for a while, and you could tell she was getting bored. She was like, Mommy, I don't want to keep lying down. So I had to lie to her. I tell her, oh, it's a game, it's a fun game, that whoever gets to lie down the longest wins the game. And the competitive spirit woke up, and she's like, oh, she has to win the game. And
hello everybody, welcome to Just for Women Africa. My name is Olaleko Amusa, the founder of Just for Women Africa, and today we're on a Zoom interview all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. And today with us we have Jessica Iyayemi, who's an illustrator. She runs an Instagram page called momtoons, and she'll be telling us about it. Yeah, welcome to the show, Jessica.
Thank you, glad to be here.
Yeah. All right, before we get into your Instagram page on momtoons, could you tell us briefly about yourself?
Okay, my name is Jessica Iyayemi. I am a storyteller, a talkative, a writer, a marketing professional as well. Most of my career was spent writing, and at some point when I thought I was going to have a serious case of burnout, I decided that I needed a creative outlet. So I picked up a habit I had long dropped. I'd been drawing since I was a kid, but I mean, when life happens to you, drawing is the last thing on your mind. So I picked that up again, and momtoons sort of just came to life. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm a mom to two very energetic, imaginative girls. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's an experience living with them, but I would not trade it for anything in the world.
Definitely, kids are a blessing. All right, so let's talk about momtoons. How did you come up with the concept of momtoons?
It's an interesting story, actually. I was supposed to be at work, but it was raining cats and dogs that day. I had car issues, so I had to book an Uber. But because of the rain, it was going to take 30 minutes. I think the fastest I could get was 30 minutes. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting. And I decided that, you know what, let me quickly go and wash my hands, because I was still with my daughter, right? So I went to go and wash my hands. And while I was washing my hands in the bathroom, the handle of the door started to move on its own. Like it's the stuff of Nollywood. It was just moving on its own. And if you live in Nigeria and you've heard of village people and jazz and all of that, there was a moment I was like, oh my goodness, they've come for me. Oh no, they've come for me. And then the handle was just moving. It was just moving. I was just like, ah! And I figured that, you know what, I either wait for it to come and get me, or I go and get it, right? And I take a deep breath, and then I open the door, I yank it open, and it's my 2-year-old. She just wants to find out what I'm doing in the bathroom, like every other 2-year-old chasing their mom around. And I thought it was a hilarious story. But when you're telling one person, I know that I could not have been the only one with that sort of experience. So what I did was I illustrated it and put it on my personal page, and it did so very well. And I started just telling stories. The response was good, the engagement was good, and I found that there were a lot of parents that were like, oh, these children are always following you to toilets. This child will never let me be alone, she's my shadow. So clearly there were similar stories and similar experiences. So what I did was just to move the stories to its own page, momtoons, and it sort of just took off from there.
Okay, that's an interesting beginning on how you started off the momtoons. So how long have you been running this page for?
Since 2018. Yes, she was two then, so 2018. But I mean, I've been on and off.
Okay, so 2018.
2018. So what's the whole objective of momtoons? Is it just a way to express your creativity, or you're trying to send out a message out there to mothers who have children all over Nigeria and Africa?
So initially, it started off as a creative outlet. But the more I wrote, the more I drew, and the more engagement and interaction I had, I realized a few things. First of all, parenting is not for the faint-hearted one. Two, motherhood can be a very lonely experience if you don't have somebody to talk to, if you don't have someone to share your experience with. And because of the pressure to be such a good mom, to get it right, you find that you are constantly harried, you are constantly trying to get things right, you are pressured. Do you understand? But if you have someone to discuss this sort of things with, you find out, one, you're not the only one. Two, it's not as serious as you're putting it on your head. You know, you can actually like have a laugh over it. So as the community grew, it became much more than just a creative outlet. It became an opportunity to build a community of parents, mom, people who love kids, people who also have similar experiences, so that you can talk without feeling judged. If you've ever been a married person with a single, and I'm just speaking broadly, right? You find that half the time you're talking about your kids, because that's literally the only thing, apart from work, they take up your whole life. You know, you're attending to them, you're taking them for immunizations, you're making sure they don't kill themselves with their experiments. That's literally your whole life. And when you're having conversations with people who don't have this experience, you find that they indulge you for all of 5 minutes. They're like, oh, okay, that's nice. And then awkward smile, awkward silence. And you know, you have to just rein it in and find something else to talk about. So basically, momtoons is like, you know what, you can talk about your kids as much as you want to. You can share your experiences in the comment section. I would respond, you know, would share our stories so you don't feel alone, right? If you're having potty training issues, you slide into my DM and say, come, this babe, have you potty trained her? How did you do it? Or has this babe started bathing on her own? How did you do it? That sort of thing. So we can trade stories without there's no judgments, there's nobody that is trying to, you know, tell you how to do it. I'm just sharing my experience, and hopefully you can take 1 or 2 things that can make your experience better. So far, that's what it's been. It's been a very it's been a crutch for me, and it's been a tool for other moms who want to have conversations about their children without being judged.
I love momtoons. Sorry, I love the fact that it's been illustrated in the form of cartoons and all, and it's really, really amazing. So, how do you get your inspiration for the cartoons you illustrate on Instagram? And secondly, I see the in-depth of the drawing is so accurate. What do you use to draw? I mean, were you an artist in school? Because the illustrations are really, really, really good.
Thank you. So first question, inspiration. Initially, the inspiration was from my kids, because I mean, they literally take over my entire life. So when they do something funny, I write it down, I illustrate. I find this Sunday where I have almost like uninterrupted 3 to 4 hours where I can just draw without anyone interrupting me. So for a while it was my kids, and then I had followers send me their stories. Now, as regards to my tools, I have my trusted iPad and pencil, and I use an app called Procreate to put them together. I used to draw, but very sketchily. But I had this teacher in primary 3. I can never forget her. Her name was Auntie Bosse. And I saw her sketching, and I thought it was pretty cool. So in watching her, she noticed I was interested, and then, you know, she taught me how to draw. And then just seeing other illustrators, seeing other artists, borrowing some styles here and there, sort of came up with my own style of drawing. I mean, it's still work in progress, because I believe it can be better, but that's where I currently am.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, so could we go through some of the drawings which you have, and could you tell us the story behind it and how you came about it? Okay, currently I'm looking at the one on the 1st of March 2021. I can see a young girl kneeling down and an adult. What's the story behind that?
So that's actually funny, right? We have this thing we do every morning. It's called praise and worship. Now, as a Nigerian, right, you are always used to, you know, give me all in my life, keep me burning. You know, you wake up, start the day with prayer, so that, you know, God can take control of your whole day and everything will go right, right? So in trying to teach her how to pray, we invite her, and, you know, everybody's praying. So Daddy would give his song, I'll give my song, and it was time for her to give her. So I asked her, I was like, oh, do you know how to, you know, can you give us a praise and worship song? She said, yeah, they do it all the time in their school. I'm like, okay, fine, let's have your song. And then she breaks into the Nigerian anthem. Arise, oh. I'm just like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe don't do that. But she was really serious. Oh, okay, it's going to be blurry. But she was really serious. She went, arise, oh, come. I'm just like, no, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. So that was actually a very funny snippet. Anyone who knows the juxtaposing between the 2 different songs would understand why it was such a moment.
That's really funny. Okay, I'm looking at another one. It's on the 23rd of October 2020. I can see definitely. I think that's you and your daughter are both lying down. What's the story? What's the story behind that?
That one was not such a very happy story. So in 2020, we had a Sorosuke movement where the Nigerian youths were standing up against the SARS, the arm of government called SARS. They're supposed to be a special anti-robbery squad, but somewhat just became a bullying and robbery tactic. So they attack youths and just make away with their money, and then some youths are never found. So the Nigerian youth stood up to the government. There was a peaceful protest and all whatnot, but the government wasn't taking it very smoothly, and they decided to retaliate. So there was massive shooting and unrest in the state, where close to a barracks. So we were hearing shooting in the distance, and because we were scared that there might be stray bullets and everything, I had to tell her to lie down, right? So we lay down on the floor for a while, and you could tell she was getting bored. She was like, "Mommy, I don't want to keep lying down." So I had to lie to her. I tell her, "Oh, it's a game, it's a fun game, that whoever gets to lie down the longest wins the game." And the competitive spirit woke up, and she's like, "Oh, she has to win the game." And she lay down there till she fell asleep. And then I, bent down and carried her to the bed, because the fear of the shooting and everything was still there. So it was a funny moment, but it was such a heavy moment, because how do you protect her from what's going on outside? You have the cocoon that is your home, where everywhere is safe, everywhere is, you can manage but then outside, what happens? What happens when you're not there? So it was a bittersweet sort of story.
All right. Talking about momtoons, do you have what's the future for momtoons? Do you have plans on being creative outside your children and coming up with more concepts and more stories?
So the whole idea is so momtoons is growing, right? We started off as just telling children's stories to telling relatable mom stories. So in the near future, we're looking at publishing, but not parents related. So my daughter is currently working on a book, because she believes, again, it gets in that mood. There's not much you can do. She believes that there are lessons that children her age should learn. So she wants to write a book so that she can send it out to them, and that's fine. So I'm gently guiding her. I'm gently guiding her on the process. Initially she said the title of the book was going to be Daisy Learns a Lesson, and by the time she tells the story, the child dies at the end. I'm like, let's not kill the child. She can learn the lesson without dying. Okay, so we're going back to see how she can learn the lesson and then tell her friends about it, so that they also learn the lesson, and hopefully nobody dies. So she's working on that. That should be ready before the end of the year. But on a much grander scale, I'm looking at working with a colleague of mine who's into productivity for moms. So handling yourself, your kids, your home, your husband can be a lot, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed, right? So what she has done is she put together checklists for different parts of your life. Are you a career mom that is trying to get to the next level? What are the things you need to do? Are you a stay-at-home mom who's trying to figure out your day-to-day? What are the things you need to do? Are you having challenges with probably traveling? So when you're about to travel, what do you need to do? So she's about creating structure in your life. So I'm hoping to work with her, and then in the future maybe have some tools to help moms better manage their lives. So from immunization to travel to extracurricular for kids, there's going to be like a database where everything is centralized and you can manage it. All you do is that you link it to like an app on your phone, and they get reminders. So when you don't forget these different events in both your life and the life of your kid. And also, so you can make time for yourself. So your life is not all about your kids. You make time for yourself to recalibrate with power and become a better person. So yeah, we have quite a number of plans in the pipeline.
Okay, that's nice to know. At least it will be published in future, and people can actually get to read it hard copy. Okay, so as we're about to round up the interview, what's your advice to women in Nigeria and all over Africa who feel that it's a man's world, who feel that they get sexually harassed, who feel that there are a lot of barriers in front of them. What's your advice to them?
There's a lot. I'm just not sure which one to share because life is what you decide it's going to be, right? You can't let anyone write your story for you. You can't let anyone gently suggest to you what you should do. You are in charge of your life. You know how it is. You know where the shoe pinches. You know what your growth plan is. And while people will come with their suggestions and opinions, ultimately it is you, right? So be true to yourself, right? Plan for the life you want. There's literally, the only barrier you have is in your head. And once you can tackle that barrier, there's literally nothing standing in your way. So live life on your terms and ask life, as in collect from life what you want. Don't wait, it's not going to be given to you. If you want something, you go out there and make it happen for yourself. So that's my 2 cents.
I definitely do agree. So to people who are watching on YouTube who enjoyed the interview, who love what you're doing, and would love to get in touch, and of course we would love to see your creativity on Instagram, could you give us your details, your contact details?
So you could reach me on the Instagram page at mom_toons. That's the fastest way to reach comments. I'm always, interacting with the followers there. So that's the fastest way to reach me, at mom_toons. And then probably when you pop into my DM, we can have conversations and see where it leads.
Okay, Jessica, that's great. Thanks so much for coming on the show. We wish you all the best with momtoons, and we look forward to seeing your daughter's book at the end of the year. Reading your daughter's book at the end of the year.
Fantastic. I will share. It will be in the bio somewhere up there. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, you're watching Just for Women Africa from Jessica and I. To the next show, it's been. Bye.